Bad Batch episode 4.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna say off the bat, it was a filler episode.
I have the exact same note. Filler ep.
Not a
It-
bad filler episode. As filler
No.
episodes go, it's pretty damn good.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was a filler episode.
It was a filler episode and a bit of a way for them to hint at a bit of a deeper story going on, I think.
Yes.
We got what essentially I'm gonna dub pod racer episode.
Yeah.
It wasn't actual pod racing, it was I forget, battle race or something like that.
Yeah, basically. It was pod racing with guns.
Yeah. Pod racing for adults. But yeah, it was a filler episode. We only got some of the Bad Batch. Wrecker
I
Tech
won't be
and
surprised if
Omega.
next week's episode
We
is
get the flip.
what was going on that other mission, which I imagine will be a bit more exciting.
Yeah, probably. But I do think it was good for the sense of we seem to have got some deeper stories going on with Sid. Or a little bit more like on who she is.
Yes.
And I wonder if that's going to play a part, a bit more of a part down the line. So it's kind of them just setting that thread there for themselves later. But I thought it was a fun episode. Yeah, like we said, it's nothing special. They did a bit of racing.
I think getting rid of Echo and Hunter for the episode gave us the ability to see a bit more of Tech and Wrecker shine through. Because let's be honest, Wrecker's there to be a bit of comedy relief and the big wrecking ball who can essentially like move the plot in a direction if they need him to. And Tech's just there to be the smart guy. Like, these are characters who are just kind of there, so if they need to force the plot in a direction, they can be their easy out.
Yeah.
Omega and Hunter, and then Echo, who was obviously a normal clone trooper before he got injured during Clone Wars, tend to have a bit more of the human stories. So I thought it was quite nice to see them get to be a bit more than that. I enjoyed Teo, the robot, the racing robot. It was kind of cool to see like a droid with an ego.
Yeah, it was funny. They do so well with the droid personalities in Star Wars, and it's like we got a completely new like personality we haven't really seen from a droid. And we also got a couple of droid army ones that have obviously been reprogrammed.
Yeah.
There was a C-3PO style one.
So there was a droid head on a C-3PO body, and then you just saw on the next pod just a C-3PO head kind of pop out.
And there was a couple of like aliens that were also racers. But yeah, do you know what I think this realistically was? It was like they needed to set like a underlying story for Sid, so they used this. But I also think this is just Dave, once again, the man Dave, him going, oh, do you know what I always enjoyed as a kid? The pod racing. We haven't seen pod racing since the prequels. You know what? I'm gonna shove it into this.
It got mentioned in episode 1 and then literally never again.
Yeah, it's like I feel like this is just him going, I just want pod racing. I want pod racing, so we're gonna find a way to put it in. We're just gonna it's there.
Yeah, it was good. Like, was it a filler episode? Yes. Are filler episodes normally pretty meh? Yes. Was this? No, not really. As filler episodes go, it's one of the best, better I've seen.
It was. And we also have to remember, this is an animated show. Animated shows often have the odd filler episode.
And also, just because it was a filler episode doesn't mean it won't be relevant later on.
Yeah, exactly.
We might get something, if we're right, and the next week's episode is what Hunter and Echo are up to at the same time. We might get more context for that through this or vice versa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also wonder something at the end of the episode, like they're all chanting Tech. What if this comes back and bites them in the ass?
Oh, a little bit too much tension.
Yeah. I don't know. If, like, all you need is one person in the crowd to like see some wanted poster and like, hang on a second.
I kind of got the impression this was like an Outer Rim planet, so less likely for the Empire to be out there yet, but you never know.
Or it could just be that maybe another stormtrooper or ex clone trooper, shall I say?
Yeah, maybe it's an excuse for another rogue clone troop to find them and go, "How have you guys got away? Help me, please."
Yeah.
Which
Uh,
I'm expecting to see a number of.
oh yeah, definitely. But yeah.
I saw our friend Luke sent me an interesting TikTok
Okay.
talking about Star Wars, and basically the person's point was a point we've made a number of times on here.
Hmm.
The way to solve Star Wars is just more Star Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah. Luke sent me this as well. I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah. So he's talking about like with Order 66, I always thought it was a little bit weird that none of the clone troopers like went against the orders. And then we get Clone Wars, how that kind of ends, the Bad Batch, stuff like that. I always thought it was a bit weird that Ahsoka managed to fight out of that situation. I didn't question it too much because I like Ahsoka. I didn't want her to die, but I was a bit confused. Then in Tales of the Jedi, they literally
Answered.
show us how.
Yeah.
Um, and this is what we've said on here for a while. Dave
Yeah.
Fillion seems to be going through the established Star Wars timeline, just going, there's a little bit of a hole there. Not anymore.
Yeah, it's exact. We've said the exact same thing, just worded it a bit differently. As like, it's Dave clearly is like, from watching Star Wars, has this like list of little details or small things that he's like, oh, we could do better on that, or we could expand on that and fix that issue. And he's just going down, just going, yep, that one's done. Tick. What's next? Oh, tick.
Do you
So,
remember like the old internet story of the person who had sent like loads of bug reports into a website about something
oh,
on a
I know
website
you're
that
gonna say,
annoyed him, and they got hired, and then he went in, spent the
fix.
entire day fixing the problem, and then handed in his letter of resignation?
Yeah,
Dave Filoni's got that kind of energy going about him. He's like, I'm
yeah.
gonna fix this
Huge,
shit.
huge Star Wars fan, has got himself in a position to work on Star Wars, uh, because he's such a huge Star Wars fan. He's been given the reins, and he's like, right, fix this, fix this, fix this.
Exactly.
I'm trying to. We need to do is just go online, find like a list of all plot holes from Star Wars, and figure out what his next one's going to be that he fixes.
Um, but
But
I would really like to see more of these kind of isolated stories with fewer of the characters.
mm,
I think the only bit of a weird thing is because last week was like a crosshair only episode.
yeah,
It's now been like two. It's like, I mean, half the episodes Hunter's not been in,
yeah. I
which
think
is a bit
this.
weird.
I think what we're gonna actually find is, though it's called Bad Batch, I think this season is going to be essentially like the Clone Wars, the next season of the Clone Wars. Like this is now the continuation of the Clone Wars animated series. It's just we're focused around a small group,
Yeah, I get that.
and I think it's going to like branch out a bit more in this season.
I think we're gonna get a lot
Characters,
of the bounty hunter characters.
yeah, I think we are going to get some.
I think they're going to end up pretty deep in the bounty hunter community, trying to work out whether they want to be like a Robin Hood style character or if they
Mm,
just want their fucking money and to live in a bit of peace.
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a young Boba Fett,
yeah, possible.
like by the end of, well, I mean by like A New Hope time, which is near the end of the Empire. Boba Fett's cutting about and is pretty well known, so that doesn't happen overnight. We've seen Boba Fett in the later Clone Wars series already as a bounty hunter, but still quite young.
Yeah,
By now, it would be kind of, and also with Omega being like essentially the same as Boba, no age enhancement to make them age faster or anything.
yeah.
There's definitely some
Oh yeah, it wouldn't
interesting
surprise me if
storytelling to be done there.
he rocks up because he gets wind of them and maybe offers them some help. I also think
Yeah,
we'll get some bounty hunters that will be hunting them.
100%.
So there's definitely going to be a lot of a wider range of characters I think we get in this season.
And I
And
think
it'll
there's
be
going to be
fun.
some obscure ones that we get to have some fun with.
Oh yeah, definitely.